Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Hilltop Pillbox here in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada, and we're on to round 7. I think we're a couple of turns behind Triple Crown. He's flying through his game. I haven't had the spare time to keep pace, but we're going to get a turn done today. Maybe 2 if we really push ourselves. But here's Germany's build. So you can see we're getting back into the submarine game, because why not? And we got our Axis Minor builds, and this is what we're building for the Germans. You can see we've got a lot of infantry, and we've got the artillery going to be paired with Panzer Grenadiers and your mechs, and we've got 1 SS infantry. We're going to take a poke, folks. We're going to take a poke, and according to my odds calculator, which is my brain and a pen and paper, it's going to be close. I should win with Germany. I should. But those dice are bloody fickle. But I do have some air power over here and a few units that can come through from Leningrad. And there's quite a bit of cannon fodder here. But that is a big stack of infantry, and they've also got the fortification. So everything I'm shooting with on the first round is weaker. Everything he's defending with is stronger. So we're going to give that a poke, and we'll see what happens. You'll find out at the end of the video. Alright, after the first round of combat, the Russians took 21 casualties and the Germans took 29. 2 of those were fighters shot down by the AA, and 1 of the 5s turned out for the fortification. But now we're on to round 2, so the Germans are all going to go up 1. And their Russian infantry goes from a 5 to a 4, those 10 of them. So we'll see. It's going to be a pretty close battle. I think the Germans have it, though, especially if they're willing to let go of aircraft. Well, that second round was devastating. The Soviets took 25 casualties and the Germans only 10. We're going to show you where we stand right now. So this is what the Russians have left. They have lost all their men except for 2 and a number of artillery. And that's pretty much it. So this is what they have left. So they've got 2, 4, 6. They got 10, 12, 15, 19. They got 21 units left. 21 units. And the Germans have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've got 12, 13, 14, 15, and then there's 17 here, so that's 32, 34, 36, and they have 6 planes, so they have 42 units. So yeah, I think this one's over. These are the casualties here. Really good second round by the Germans, and not a great round, only 12 hits by the Russians, and that could be telling. But we're still going to roll the dice. Round 3 could have a surprise. Well, not as big of a blowout as the turn before, and actually the Germans started out really slowly. They only had about 7 hits until they got to their into their 6s, and they went up to 9 or something. Their 6s did not shoot well, or maybe, yeah, whatever. They didn't do well, and the Russians actually almost every other unit got a hit. I think they had 21 units left or something. So yeah. They got 10 hits. But they're down to this, folks. That is it. 2 fighters and 2 KV-2s. And over here, we've got this much stuff left. So, yeah, this one's probably over, but the crying. We're going to do a live action round. We're going to start with the Germans, of course, as the attackers. 2 Panzer Grenadiers at 3. And just like that. Only need 3 more hits. Here come the bombers. The bombers are coming in. 2 dice each at 4, so that's 6 dice. 4. Do the bombers take them out? They do. 3 more hits, so that's it. So that's it for the Ruskies. They're going to respond. A couple of 6s. Nope. And a couple of 7s. And they got 2 hits. So we'll say goodbye to a couple of Panzer Grenadiers. That's it for them. And that's it for the Soviets. Now I know that this attack likely would have gone very differently. If Triple Crown had still been playing, he probably would have defended in a different manner and possibly saved Moscow. I don't know. But we shall see. Now we have this little battle going on here for Novgorod, and we've zipped through with our tanks. Actually, that's a light tank. I don't know if it can zip through. I'm going to have to check that out. But here we've got tank at 6. He misses. And we've got a mech and an artillery, so a couple of 3s. Oh, there's a hit. So, and the Russian responds with a 4, rolls a 5, so this guy's gone. All right, so that's it for the Moscow gang. They're done. I'll see if Archangel's still around, but they are going to be way, way, way low on funds next turn. Plus, Novosibirsk is now under the eye of the Japanese. And because this has fallen, they have to declare another capital. And typically it's Leningrad or Novosibirsk, I believe. But I'm going to look and see. Again, these are rules that Triple Crown and I have been developing for the past number of months. Almost a year now we've been working on this thing. And there's a lot of moving parts. So I'm going to see if we can allow Stalingrad to be the base of operations for the Soviets. Likely it'll get overrun next turn. But if they can survive one more turn, perhaps someone can come to their aid. Someone can help them. I don't think so, but if that can happen, great. If not, I've got to declare Novosibirsk, and then the Japanese will obviously take that quite easily. All right, well, you saw it here, folks. Moscow has fallen, but there is nothing over here. Like some small infantry units. Everything went east. But now all these troops in Romania and whatnot can start heading westward and south to bulk up. So Europe looks a little bit more safe. But of course the British building up here and the Americans building up a hefty fleet over here. Could be anybody's game, folks. Here we go. Okay, so at the end of round 7, that is what the board looks like. And you can see that we've got some interesting stuff going on. The only thing that shouldn't be up there is the Soviet roundel at 3. It should actually be off the board. Yes, it's all done. I think we've already seen it on this video. It was a couple of days ago that I actually did the battles with Germany and Japan. Just life, right? Life just happens. So you've seen all that going on, but we're going to show you what the crazy Americans are up to. Yes, they have joined up with their Anzac brethren all around New Guinea and have, it's a decent force there. Decent force. We got ourselves 7 destroyers plus 3 destroyers. That's 10 destroyers. Math isn't hard. And they also have 3 transports for the Anzac and 6 transports for the Americans. 5 or 6. Yeah, it's 6. They also took the Carolines. Unfortunately, the Japanese on the way out decided to burn down the air base and the naval base, so those are no good. And Japan also got rid of the naval base in the Philippines. And for good reason. They just did not want to be around if the Americans decided to go there and take it. Now, having said that, and the Americans do seem to be in control here, although there is a sub up here doing a little bit of convoying. Pardon the shadow, folks. There, we'll go over here. That'll be a little better. You got the shadow gone. Sub there, and 2 happy Japanese guys up in Alaska. The transport that brought them over was sunk by the medium bomber, which is now stationed up in the Pacific Northwest. And the Japanese fleet, I'm not sure exactly what I filmed a couple days ago, so I'm going to go over things. Built another carrier here and a Yamato battleship. That's the red one. Yes, the sculpt is smaller, but the red really pops. So, that's the Yamato battleship. And on the mainland, the Japanese continue to churn out their typical 2 mech, 1 artillery builds, which allows them to bring 3 units to the front from both of these factories toot sweet. But the FEC have decided to get in the way, be a fly in the ointment, as it were. And we have a stack of about 11 infantry here. That took French Indochina, which added $1 to the coffers of the FEC, and boy, do they need it. Right now, the FEC is making a grand total of $10. So that's not very good. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is worth 3. That's 9. And then they have 10, 11, but they're being convoyed. Actually, they have $9. Well, that's even more depressing, folks. So $9. Oh no, there's 10. Brunei. I knew they were at 10. So they got $10, and that's it. And then these two convoys, C zones here, cancel each other out. So that's it. All they get is a dime. And last turn they had a grand total of 18 going on, because they had saved some. So they built 6 infantry this turn, 3 in the outlying areas at the military bases, and 3 in Calcutta proper. The Japanese moved everybody into Siam because there was a numerical advantage for the FEC. They probably could have taken it if Japan had not brought everybody home. Having done that, though, they opened themselves up to lose French Indochina as well as Szechuan. Yes, the KMT are back, baby. Well, they collected $3, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do much with it. The Japanese are able to hit Szechuan with 5 units from there, as well as another 5 units from down south, as well as a fighter, an advanced fighter, plus all of these aircraft here. So it's unlikely that Szechuan will still be in the hands of the FEC and the KMT. And the KMT will have nowhere to build because the Japanese, of course, will take Xinjiang. And Xinjiang, as you can see, provides a backdoor access to FEC. Got to be careful with that, folks. And sometimes you just don't see these things when you're playing. You kind of get a bit of a laser focus, and playing a solo game this large, sometimes you walk into your own trap. Unbeknownst to you, unwittingly, unawares, and on we go. The Japanese fleet off the Horn of Africa, almost, and they are doing enough trouble here, causing enough trouble that the British have had to do some interesting things. So everybody's doing the march up Africa, of course, trying to coagulate here up in the north because the resurgent Italians. Now the Italians tried an attack on Tehran. They brought a mech, an artillery, their medium bomber, and they brought in a dude with the airlift. And they failed. The British got 2 hits on the first round, and so Italy retreated. Went right back to Baku and brought some more guys south. Of course, the Germans are sitting here with tons of stuff. The Soviets actually do have 3. I forgot about Stalingrad. See, this is what happens when you haven't been at the table for a while. They do have Stalingrad, and they likely won't do much except just stay there and try to hold on. But there is hope, folks, and we'll show you that hope in just a moment. This is not the hope. This is the nope for the Soviet Union. They are likely going to get crushed on this turn by the Germans. That is, count them, 21 tanks that are coming in, and I will not risk any aircraft with that AA gun. So Stalingrad is going to fall, and there's also another few tanks here in eastern Ukraine. But most of those are going to head south. We need to pop open the Middle East here and get down to Africa. Speaking of Africa, let's talk about Italy and how they're not in it. Yes, Italy is resurgent, but slowly, very slowly. They made $21 this turn. A little bit on the strength of what's happening over here. If they didn't have this stuff, they would have made a grand total of 14. So we're not exactly sure what we're going to do with them. But we had to build warships because Turkey will go pro-Allied if the Allies have Greece and there are no Italian warships in the Med. So we can get Greece with Britain, But those pesky Italians built a cruiser and a transport this turn. Transport's not a warship, but the cruiser is 2 destroyers. So not likely that we're going to be able to take care of the Italian fleet anytime soon. I also couldn't build the boats down here for obvious reasons. So the Italians keeping their fighters here ready to go, but they may need them shortly, as there has been a couple of landings off here in France. Yes, you heard it here first, folks. First, the British landed. They landed in Reims, and they landed in Normandy, dropping off a grand total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 units. Crazy times, crazy times. And I think that's too many. I'm going to have to do my math on that. Unless I didn't bring... Oh, I didn't move the... Gotta move these things over, folks. There we go. Now we can bring 10 units. Now, the only problem is the Germans, when they took Moscow, were able to take Sweden. It becomes pro-Axis, and then anybody can go there and claim it. So they did. And they collected themselves a couple of coastal battleships and a sub. Just thank you. So, and a destroyer. So they're sitting pretty to come over here and smash anything in the channel and around UK. So what I've done is I put up some blockers. And so when I play Germany, I'm going to have to decide which ones are going to stay here and fight and which ones are going to go through and try to sink this fleet. Now this fleet back here is pretty pathetic. It's got a cruiser and a couple little PT boats, and that's it. But the neat thing is, when I split the fleet to come in here, we can scramble, right? Got 2 planes that can scramble there, and I've got 3, including 2 Spitfires, that can scramble here. And then after that, we got to deal with the Americans. There's a carrier and a couple of destroyers. So it's not all smiles and sunshine as it might appear to be for the Germans. Plus, as we look here, there's nothing. Right there, the Axis have nothing in here. It is wide open. So we'll see what comes of all this. It's still looking like the Axis do have the initiative, and Germany does get to go next. But to take out these units that are in France might not be possible. The Americans actually had a tough fight down here, but they had to fight 6 infantry, and they lost 3 of their own doing it down here in Bordeaux. And then the Italians just moved over into Marseille to try to bulk up a little bit. But there is a German heavy tank in northern Italy. There are 3 German fighters. And no other ground units can make it through, just what they've got in Paris. So it's likely Normandy will remain. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means then that the follow-up for the Americans over here, another 12 units, can come and land. That is provided that the channel does not have German boats in it. Now, the channel can have German boats, but this area here, which likely will still have this small American fleet. So we're just trying to pile as much stuff on as we possibly can, and every turn hoping to put 12 units into Europe from America. Now, that number will fluctuate. If the Germans are very successful here, well, then the Americans are just going to have to build warships to come over and deal with the Kriegsmarine. But if the Germans fail, yeah, they might come on over. Now, over here, we've got all this German air power. The bombers can hit here. Okay, but once again, are they willing to give up bombers to scrambling Spitfires? And are the Spitfires really wanting to die to protect some transports? It will be a very interesting turn going forward. Again, the Germans do have to dispatch Stalingrad first. There's only $3 to be had, but $3 is $3. Over here, all this Japanese stuff is going to be turning and heading eastward and southward to go deal with the FEC and all the fun stuff they've been doing, which you have already seen. All right, well, that is a wrap-up of round 7. The Axis definitely have the initiative, but with America and Britain landing in force on the continent, it's not just as simple as all that. I still have confidence the Axis will win. They can just bring too much to bear. But we're still going to roll it out, because if the rolls go like this for the Axis, where they rolled 5 dice and got no hits, and the British rolled 3 and got 2, you have that happen a few times, that'll make you a little gun shy. So, round 8's going to come up. Not going to take too terribly long. I hope to get it up by tomorrow evening sometime. Hopefully. Oh, sorry, there's my finger in the way. Got a lot to do tomorrow, though. I got to go get an oil change. But I'm also going to a clinic for baseball umpiring. It'll be my 3rd year doing it. A lot of fun. And hey, if you want a fun hobby that you can go out for an afternoon and bring home $100, hey, it's a great way to go. All right, folks, you take care. Have yourselves a wonderful day. And hug your loved ones. Thank your friends for playing. And as we always say, may those dice be with you. And look at that ugly shadow. That's just hideous. Ugh.